Let me ask you something. Are you struggling? Are you flat out broke? Are the bills piling up? Well, if you're struggling now, just wait until the new taxes hit. With the government's up and coming budget in October, things are about to get a whole lot tougher. This government has shown us that without any question. Well, we all need to make a bit of money to survive. This side hustle could save you and help you make really fast money. And let me show you just how. Okay, let me just say this. There is absolutely no shame and nothing to be embarrassed about if you are struggling. You may be struggling now, but you know what? You're not alone. So many people are struggling at the moment, and soon the whole country will be struggling and feeling the pressure of rising costs. I can guarantee you that with all the tax rises that are due in October. And that's why I'm here to help. My name is Walter O'Neill. I'm an antique dealer, reseller. I'm the author of the Reseller Guide, Everything I Know About Reselling on Amazon, and the founder of antiquesarena.com, which is an extremely large antiques-related website offering thousands of pieces for sale and countless articles designed to help you. I have decades of experience in the reselling world, and I've helped countless people achieve financial freedom or at least relieve some of their burdens. And that's why I'm here today. I'm going to share some of my proven strategies with you, tips, my secrets, and help you fight back against being broke. But it's a bit different today because we're going to just presume I'm starting out from scratch. I have no knowledge, I have no money, I have no website, and no experience. What would I do? And that's what today's video is going to be. We're going to look at what I would do if I was now starting out. Hopefully, you'll find that very interesting because I'm going to look at what I would do to raise money, what I would buy, what I would sell, where I would buy it, where I would sell it, why I'd choose this product, and so forth. It's all going to be in today's video. And by the end of it, I would like to think that you'll be able to take the tips and secrets and experience from today's video and actually make a few pounds yourself. We're going to look at the side hustle, buying and selling. So very simple. You buy something cheap, you sell it for more money. Extremely easy. We'll talk about the different platforms and places you can buy and sell in a little bit. But first of all, you have to think, okay, what am I going to sell? Okay, there's people out there telling you to sell digital products and services and things that require no effort from yourself. But let's be honest, they all sound too good to be true. By actually going out, let's say, for example, to a car boot sale, buying something for £1 and selling it for 10, 20, £30, that is simple, achievable for any person in this country or across the world. If you've got flea markets in your country, it's achievable for anybody. And it is physical. You can see it, you can learn from it, and you can do it. I'm not very good with technology, so there's no point me trying to say, okay, well, I could create a digital product and make a fortune from that, or advertising other people's products. So I'm going to concentrate today on teaching you how to buy one product and flip it for a profit so that you can, first of all, make money, second of all, get yourself out of the hole. And I really do genuinely hope this is able to help some people. So, choosing what to buy and sell. Now, the truth is, reselling can be as easy or as complicated as you make it. And to keep it simple, you could start off by checking platforms such as Etsy or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, any of these platforms. And what you do, just go into browse and go down to sold items. There'll be a section there, either in the filters or on the left, it'll say sold items. You click on that, then you search. At the top, it'll be search by, and you'll go highest price because you don't want to be looking at something that's only selling for a couple of pounds. So you want to see what's actually selling for decent money. So you could check out these platforms and look at sold listings and think to yourself, okay, what's selling? What's selling fast? What's selling for good money? I'm going to focus on that. And then you can start reading that or trying to learn about that and trying to find that. However, a lot of these sites do require some level of skill and expertise to navigate. Not to mention, a lot of the higher sold items on eBay and Etsy now require a little bit of experience, knowledge. It's not easy to find these type of things. And I'll give you an example. Whether you want to do electronics, games, everybody out there is looking for all the games. You want to do toys, everybody got toys, but everybody's also looking for toys. Now, I'm going to make a start and a suggestion. I suggest you start with jewellery. Why jewellery? Well, we're going to look at all that in a minute. Right? You could start off with a subject you already know or passion you have. However, jewellery is the category that holds the greatest benefits, the greatest rewards, and is the easiest to learn. I'll go into it all. I'll explain it all down to you for you in just a moment. But trust me when I say, if you are in a hole and you only want to deal in one thing, jewellery will get you out of the hole, or will certainly help, giving you a few steps out. Okay, so jewellery. Why do I say jewellery? Well, you might have some expertise, you might not, but let's be honest. Anybody can recognize a necklace. Anybody can recognize a ring. Anybody can recognize a brooch. More often than not, 99% of us have owned some form of jewellery, whether it's a watch, a necklace, earrings. We've all owned some of it. You might not understand what gold is. You might not understand what silver is. We'll cover all that in a bit. However, jewellery is extremely common. Whether you're at a car boot sale, charity shop, you'll find a table or a cabinet or a wall loaded with jewellery. I go to car boot sales every 3-4 times a week, and I can guarantee you, let's say if there's 100 stalls at a car boot sale, I'd say 70 stalls out of that 100 will have some form of jewellery on there, whether it's costume jewellery, real jewellery. There will be some form of jewellery. You go in a charity shop, there's always costume jewellery hanging on a wall. They always have a little cabinet with the gold and silver or the nicer pieces, if you're lucky enough to find a shop that sells gold and silver. You'll find everything loaded with jewellery. And unlike other items that require niche knowledge, jewellery is accessible for anyone to start from scratch. You have so many options with jewellery, it is absolutely shocking, and it's such a big category and a very expensive category. Now, jewellery is low cost, high profit potential. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, you go to a car boot sale, and most jewellery at car boot sales is 50p to a pound. I'm not joking you. People will have a box on the table with all bits of jewellery in there, and it'll range from 50p to a pound. Now, if you're lucky enough to be a lady, you can rummage through them boxes, no problem at all. However, being a man, the first thing I do is I go through the boxes, and the first things I hear is, there's no gold in there. Still look, because I still pull gold out of them. They instantly know you're in there looking for gold, silver, antique jewellery, things like that. If a lady goes through it, they just assume a lady's looking if there's anything nice there for herself. When a gentleman looks through there, they know what you're doing. And more often than not, they'll be, oh, there's no jewellery in here, or there's nothing in here, it's just costume. Still go through it. And we'll cover why in a little bit. Now, the potential for profit on jewellery is huge. Right? And I'm going to give you some examples. Take, for example, right, a costume jewellery brooch. Something vintage, base metal, like an insect or something like that. They can fetch £15-20 online just for a base metal, interesting brooch of an insect. Right? And that's just the beginning. You might come across a piece of antique jewellery, or even stumble up silver and gold. Right? Let's look at it this way. Bakelite, an early form of plastic, right? So you have cherry amber Bakelite beads and things like that. So you have little, almost like plastic bead necklaces, right? And I'm going to show you the price of them. High hundreds. A lot of people then after silver, gold, they go, no, silver and gold, and they're gone. They've missed the cherry amber Bakelite, they've missed the celluloid, they've missed the early pieces. There's Georgian brooches and things. Now, no, you don't need experience. Because you can just buy the whole box and research all when you go home if it comes to it. You don't have to buy them 50p a piece and a pound a piece. If you see a box of really nice, old, interesting jewellery, you can simply say, well, what would you take for the box? And buy the box full. We'll talk about the benefits of doing that in a bit. Right? But let's just say you got Bakelite. Right? Hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of pounds for a Bakelite. Or let's say you hit on a piece, a designer piece. There's plastic brooches by a designer called Leah, and they sell for up to £100. Again, plastic. People look at them, plastic, 50p. The potential is absolutely unbelievable. But then you look at, well, I regularly buy sterling silver for £1. I buy gold for £1. Gold is a little harder to come by, but if you rummage through the boxes, you might see a big ball of jewellery all tangled up. You've no idea what's in that ball of jewellery. Buy the ball. Spend a few hours going through and unpicking it. In the middle of that, you may find a couple of gold necklaces, be worth fortune. You never know. You don't know your luck. Trust me from that one. Gold is at an all-time high. So a single broken earring can be worth 20 quid, right? 1 single gram of 9-carat gold is over £20. 1 gram, that's 9-carat gold, right? Now, if you get a broken earring, it's normally a gram, 2-3 grams for a nice big loop. You get a broken one of them in the box, and they go 20 pence, 50p. You got 20, 40 pound of gold that you don't have to sell. You can melt it straight in. Every single piece in a box of jewellery has value. Nothing in a jewellery box has zero value. So if you want to buy individual pieces and select them, or if you want to buy the whole box, it really is all worth the money. Now you might be thinking, how would I even recognize valuable pieces like gold and silver? Well, I've got you covered on that one too. I'm going to link into the description today videos on how to identify gold, how to identify silver, how to acid test to see if gold and silver is real. Now that might sound scary to you. Now, I put totally free, 100% free videos in the description for you that I've already made showing you how to identify gold, silver, and test with acids. You can buy a gold solution acid on online platforms for £6, £7, £8, right? And I teach you how to do it. It's simple. A little scratch, little drop, depending on the color of the acid tells you what the metal is. It is that simple, right? And watch the videos and they'll show you how to do it, right? It's so easy. I got you covered. No matter what you need to know, I've got you covered, right? Check out my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, right, I got a tutorial section on my YouTube channel just designed to help teach you all about antiques and collectibles and jewelry, right? And I'll walk you through how to identify these metals. It's a lot easier than you think. And these small tips can make a huge difference for you, right? As I say, you can buy the box full, you can come home, you can go through the boxes, and it's like Christmas. It's so much fun. It is much more fun than just sitting at a 9-to-5 job. So let's say you bought a box of jewelry. There might be 20, 30 pieces in there that you bought, and you think to yourself, okay, well, there's no gold in there, there's no silver in there, there's no antiques in there. Well, there must have been something in there for you to buy. So let me put that into some context. When you're looking through a box of jewellery, you don't just see a box of kids' plastic beads and things like that and think, oh, I'll buy it anyway and take it home and have a look. You have a quick rummage through the box. You're only going to be buying it if you see there's vintage in there, the antiques are in there, there's gold or silver in there. It's got to be something of intrinsic value before you buy the box. You've got to see something at least in that box. And if you do, then, especially if you see a bit of silver or gold, then you know they haven't gone through the box, in which case your chances are through the roof. Right, but I guarantee you, right, if you spend 5 or 10 quid on a box of 10, 20 pieces, right, and the costume jewellery you pull out of that alone, maybe one piece will cover the cost of that box. We now know you can buy jewellery at car boot sales, you can buy it at charity shops, you can even go online if you're disabled or you don't want to leave your home, you can go online, auctions sell job lots of costume jewellery, and they might have a box full, you might have a table full. You don't even have to visit the auction. Just sit at home, bid online, and have it shipped to your door. And you might buy 30, 40 kilos of costume jewellery. There'll be something in there. There always is, right? And they tend to sell for 40, 50 pound, £100 for a job lot of costume jewellery, right? And more often than not, I pull a bit of gold and silver out of them as well, and there's always something decent. All right, so there's another way you can buy. Another way you can buy off Facebook Marketplace, you can run ads, anything you want, right? There's loads of ways you can get hold of really nice bits of jewellery, cheap. But then you've got to sell it. So when it comes to selling, you have several options, both online and offline, and each have their own benefits and challenges. So it's important to work out what's best for you. All right. So we're going to look at online platforms first. Now, you might be new to online selling. Places like eBay and Etsy are great for reaching a broad audience. You'll be selling to buyers all over the world, but keep in mind these platforms charge for their services. They charge for listings, they charge for selling commissions, they charge commission on postage, they charge commission on everything they can, right? So make sure you're aware of all costs and commissions, right? But you can sell anything on eBay, Etsy, from costume jewelry, gold. Etsy is a bit more focused on handmade and vintage jewelry, but you can sell anything on either of them. Another option would be Facebook Marketplace. No listing fees, no commission, no shipping. You list an item on Facebook Marketplace. This is what the item is. Use the photograph. People message you. They come to your house and collect it and pay cash. You're not going to get scammed. There are lots and lots of scams online trying to rip you off, saying, "Oh, if I've only got this amount of money, can I send you £1,000 and you send me the item and £300 back?" And you think, well, what difference I make if they've sent me £1,000? Because then the £1,000 bounces because it was a stolen credit card or something like that, and then you're out the £300 and the jewelry. No messing about. Straightforward. Go through PayPal, make sure you're safe, right? And only take the payment you're owed and never come off the platform if you're inexperienced, right? Same with Facebook Marketplace. Make them come to the house, make them give you cash, right? Don't mess about with people, and don't give your address out to people as well until the day they arrive in. So let's say, for argument's sake, I put a gold watch up for sale, and I'll have about 50 messages. "Oh, give me your address, I'll come and collect it." You give them your address, you won't see them, but they've got your address. What I tend to do is say, right, if you're interested, message me when you're ready to leave. If I still got it and nobody else has bought it, I will give you my address. You can come and collect it. And that's what I tend to do. I don't hand my address out willy-nilly, and I certainly don't get messed about by people saying, "Oh, can I send someone else to collect it? Can I send DHL to collect it and they'll pay you cash when they come?" Because it's all scams. Make sure they come to the house, pay you cash, and take the item away. All right. Now, the downside with using Facebook Marketplace is then your audience is more localized. Where on eBay you can sell worldwide, on Facebook Marketplace is people who are going to drive to your home to collect it. So you're not reaching the same audience, but there's no fees. Offline options. If selling online isn't your preference, consider setting up a booth in an antique centre. What do I mean by a booth? Well, you can have little cabinets, you can have stalls, anything you want, manned or unmanned at antique centres, where you just put your pieces in and the antique centres draw in the people. They already have a footfall of traffic. So you can have a booth at an antique centre. These really do offer attractive places because a lot of the time the people who are attending these antique centres, they know they're going to pay a little bit more because they're at an antique centre, not a car boot sale. They go in there looking for stuff to buy. They're looking for collectibles. They're looking for vintage or unusual items. Makes it perfect. Alternatively, you could sell at flea markets or car boot sales. So let's say, for argument's sake, you go to a car boot sale or flea market, you put out your little pasting table, maybe a couple of cabinets, because you don't want your jewelry just on the top, especially if it's gold and silver, because they'll just steal it. Be very careful, it will get stolen at car boot sales and flea markets. So you have yourself a nice little glass top display cabinet, put your pieces in there, and you can buy them for 10 or 20 quid, or you can make your own. Get a pane of glass and make yourself a little box out of some 2x2. It doesn't make any difference at all. You can do it easy enough, right? But you want to protect your gold and silver. And believe me, theft at car boot sales is no strange thing. It's common, all right? Now, there's advantages and disadvantages. You sell at the car boot sale or flea market, they're going to come there, they're going to be able to see the beautiful things, they're going to handle them, they're going to haggle with you, you're going to take money, you're going to trade. Downside is you may not get the same footfall you might get if you use eBay and things like that. Yet I sell at places like Gethley Gate car boot sale and that, and they have thousands of people coming in. It's an amazing car boot sale. If you ain't familiar with Gethley Gate car boot sale, you really should try it. They're on Facebook. We're coming to the end of the season now, but next year they start back up around Easter, and they have 2 massive fields of sellers and 2 fields for parking. It's huge, amazing car boot sale. And you really can buy and sell some amazing things there. But again, that would mean you, first of all, you're involved in setting up and dismantling your stall every day. You've got to deal with the worry of theft. You've also got to deal with this. This is much more serious, so pay much attention and be very careful with this. Somebody I know recently was followed from an antique fair, beaten and robbed of all his gold. They followed him to the hotel, waited till he got up in the morning and robbed him when he was going to his van. Be careful, be vigilant. Okay? Check if you're being followed, especially if you're doing gold and silver, right, from events like car boot sales and antique fairs, because they can follow you. And one way of not being followed, believe it or not, is go slower. Because nobody will stay behind you when you're going slow. So if you're going slow and someone's staying behind you, that's red flag. If you're doing 70 mile an hour and someone behind you, you don't even notice, do you? But if you're going 50 mile an hour, believe me, you notice someone staying behind you. But whichever route you choose, make sure you research your venue. For antique centres and booths, make sure it's a vibrant antique centre. You know, if you go to an antique centre and half the stalls are empty, you've got to start thinking to yourself, well, why are these empty? Are they too expensive, or are they just not getting the sales? Are they not getting the foot traffic? Right, same with car boot sales. I'm not going to name any, but there's one or two local car boot sales to me that just aren't growing. They get 3-4 rows of sellers, and it's the same sellers every week, and it's the same handful of buyers every week. They're just not growing. But then you get the likes of Bakelite, which is booming. So do your research, attend a couple of events, attend a antique centre, go for a stroll around, do 2 or 3 4 visits, and decide yourself before you decide where you're going to sell to. Now, if you go down the online route, right, you choose to sell on one of the online platforms, eBay, Etsy, or any of the other marketplaces, right? Creating an account is quite simple. Yeah, you can do it on your phone most of the time, and it's step by step. You just follow the on-screen instructions, right? Just remember, as I've already said, they come with costs, fees, right? If you're going to sell online, make sure you take PayPal, and make sure whatever you do, pay for PayPal chargeback protection, because I've lost quite a lot of money this last year or two on people using credit card fraud, as in they've received their item. Oh, I didn't order that item. Somebody else must have ordered it, even though they had it sent to them. Believe me, you would not believe the claims you will lose, even though you can prove they've had the items, right? Always have chargeback protection, and always send your items with tracked mail. Never send anything that is not tracked. Even if it's at your cost for the extra, do it tracked. Now, if you're selling online, you need to create a strong listing, right? Once your account is set up, you'll need to create your listing. A great listing is key to marketing sales, and it all starts with sharp, clear images and detailed descriptions. High quality images, as many as you can fit in. If you're allowed 12, use 12. Make sure your images are well lit, sharp, in focus, show all aspects of the jewelry. Use a plain neutral background. Even a piece of A4 paper will do. All right, whatever it takes. Every angle, any damage, show the damage. Any maker's marks, show the maker's marks. Show as many angles as you can. But if you can allow 12 photographs free, use 12 photographs. Include close-ups, full-size shots, everything you can. Any hallmarks, make sure they're photographed. Any flaws, you name it. Make it so when the buyer comes down to your listing, they don't need any further action to make a decision. Let me give you a scenario. If I want to buy a vase, all right, and I go onto a listing and I go, right, well, I want a nice vase for my wife for her flowers. And they show you a picture of a vase and you think, that is one beautiful vase, but there's no size on there. You don't know if it's big enough. You don't know how heavy it is. It's going to fall over when you put a flower in it. So then you have to message the seller and say, well, actually, how big is this vase? By which time you've already forgotten about that item and you've moved on to look for someone else. Whereas, while I was on there, if they said to me, this vase is 2 foot tall or 12 inches tall, 2 kilos, so it's not going to fall over, it's in beautiful condition, it's made by Edinburgh Crystal or whoever, I already got all the information I need to know to make an informed decision. So the more details you can put into that listing, the better. Right? If it's hallmarked, tell them who's hallmarked it. If you can. If you can't, you just clearly photograph it and let people make their own mind up. Right? But giving them all the information so they can make an informed decision before they leave the page is key to increasing your sales. I can't emphasize that enough. If they have to go off that page, they're not coming back. I say you get 1 in 50 will email you, and probably 1 in 50 will come back and actually buy, because by the time you answer them, they've already bought something else somewhere else. Now, presentation matters. If you're selling at a car boot sale, a flea market, a booth, or even online, how you present your stuff makes a difference. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're at a car boot sale. Put a nice black cloth on your table, or line your display cases with green velvet. Make the jewellery stand out. Don't just dump it all in a pile and make it look like it's worth 50 pence. Spread it out. Give every piece its due care and the space that it deserves, I think is the right words I'm looking for. So if you've got a beautiful necklace and it's clammed in with other things, people ain't going to see it. But if you give it some room and it's a standout piece on its own, people are going to notice it. So presentation makes a massive difference. You do any photographs, make sure you're using a backing color that really pops the color of the thing, the look, and make sure your jewelry pops off the image. Presentation. Really work on presentation. Ensure the lighting is right. Sometimes you have to take photographs outside. Sometimes you can use just a phone flash, whatever. I take all my photographs on my website with nothing but my phone. And if you want to see good photographs, go and have a look at my website. And I use a phone, old iPhone. It's not even a new iPhone, right? So, but presentation. Take the time to get the right photograph. Take the time to display your pieces at the car boot sale well. People will part with money, but they have to feel the item's worth the money you're asking. Now, what I tend to do, I go to a car boot sale, and then I come home and I sort through my jewellery. Now, you've got to sort through what you've purchased, whether you go out and you buy individual pieces and put them in a little bag, put them in your pocket and come home, or whether you buy a box full. More often than not, I come back with boxes of jewellery. All right. First thing I do, I take out all the gold and all the silver, anything with intrinsic value, separate it. Any scrap, if that's saleable, that'll get put to one side. If it's broken scrap, it gets put to another side into a bag ready for weighing in or melting. Then I'll take out any antique jewellery, any designer jewellery. Now understand this, if you don't know how to identify a piece of antique jewellery, Google search it. A simple photograph, reverse image search, tells you exactly what it is. Free to use, free to install. Even if you've got to install, I think you just use it on Google now, right? And you can take a photograph of a brooch or a necklace and it'll tell you exactly who it is and what it is, because there's always something else out there identical, right? So I'll separate my gold, my silver, my antique, my designer pieces, my unbranded costume jewelries and things, right? And then you come down to all the broken bits. Now, what do you do with them? Your broken bits of necklace, your beads, things like that. I'm not talking precious metals that you can weigh in for scrap. What do you do with all the broken earrings, broken bead necklaces, broken bracelets? What do you do with it? Chuck it in the bin. I got another tub that I'll put all the brokens in, and I build it up till I get like 10, 20 kilos of broken jewelry. And I sell that. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, who's going to buy broken pieces of jewelry, broken bracelets, broken necklaces? First of all, there's people out there who like to make their own jewellery, and they'll reuse the beads, glass beads and things like that, to make new jewellery. You've also got people who do arts and crafts, love the beads and the bits and bobs out of the jewellery to make pictures and things like that. I normally achieve, for let's say a 10 or 15 kilo box of broken bits, 50 quid. Now, for stuff you'd have already binned that is worthless, that's not bad, is it? And it does add up fast. And when you buy in jewellery to the extent I buy, you'll end up with a box full every month. You really will, because I'll buy all the stuff. Anything I deem saleable, I sell. I'm talking about rubbish. All right. So now you've separated out your pieces. All right. You've got your gold and your silver. Gold is primarily valued by weight. All right. So how do you price it? Well, let's look at it this way. If you have broken gold, right, you set that aside, you sell for scrap, right, and the scrap goes up and down on a daily basis. So let's say, for example, 9 carat is worth around £22 a gram, give or take, right? But if you got a necklace that is no damage, beautiful, in what we class as saleable gold piece, right, like rings and necklaces, things like that are not broken, then they're worth higher value. So I'll give you an example. A plain gold necklace, good condition, might be priced at £30 per gram as opposed to £22 per gram scrap. If your jewellery has some stones in it, you can either use Google image search again to help identify the stone, or just be generally honest. It's got a green coloured stone, don't know what it is. Let the people decide for themselves again, right? But if you're selling it £5, £6, £7 above scrap value, you're doing well because gold is so high. Now, silver has a much lower value, so around 65p a gram, give or take. But again, that is for scrap. That's for absolute rubbish. I sell rings that might be 2, 3, 4 grams for £10 and £20. I sell bracelets and necklaces and things. You might end up with £10, £20, £30 a gram for some things. You might have a little lightweight 2 or 3 gram necklace set with a little diamond. You get 30, 40 quid for it. And it might only be a tiny diamond chip, right? You have to take into consideration the resale value. Now, as again, if you don't know, take a photograph on your phone and find what comparable people are selling for. Right? And it'll give you examples similar to your jewellery and prices that other people are selling. Again, your silver jewellery, any broken, would go exactly the same into a pot to be melted down, same as your gold. For designer items, more often than not, when you look on the back, you need an eyeglass, right? I carry one of them, right? And you'll go like that, and you'll be able to read on the back what it says on the back of the brooch or the back of the necklace or something like that, right? And literally, all you do is type into Google. Let's say, for example, you've bought a Celtic brooch full of stones. Now, you look at the stones and think, okay, what are they? I have no idea. You turn it over and you read miracle. Okay, what's that? So you type in miracle brooch on Google. All of a sudden, you realise it's a 1970s Scottish agate miracle brooch. It tells you everything you want to know. It is simple to do research on stuff. Gold, as I said, I'm going to share the videos on how to identify gold and silver, but you got British gold is 375 for 9 carat, 585 for 14 carat, 750 for 18, 916 for 22. Right, silver, most of the common ones you'll find will be 800, 900, 925, 950, or stamp sterling. Right, everything more or less is marked some way or another. But when you're using, let's say we're talking about the antique jewellery again, simple, right? Just take a photograph of the brooch, go to Google, click on the image, upload your image, and you'll have a selection of very similar pieces up for sale. It tells you who they are and what they're selling for. It's perfect. Now, there are fakes out there. I'll give you an example. Leah Stein, I've already mentioned the designer brooches. They done like a plastic panther. Now, the only way to tell the difference on the Leah Stein brooches is the back bar that holds the pin. If it's a straight one, it's fake. If it's like the V with the Leah Stein on, it's real. I'll give you an example of that one. I'll probably put the pictures up in the video. So once you know what the item is, then you've got to do the research to find out if it's real or fake. It sounds complicated, it's so easy. Because, as I've said, you look at the back of your item or look at the clasp of your item, it'll tell you what it is, who made it, more often than not, and then you just type that in or do a Google image search. Now, costume jewellery. Costume jewellery might not contain precious metal, all right, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable. Vintage costume jewellery or modern costume jewellery, right? Most pieces sell based on design and uniqueness. So, let's say, for example, you got a base metal brooch of a unicorn. You might sell that for £10 or £15 because somebody loves unicorns, not for any other reason than they like the brooch and it's a unicorn. I can tell you now, brooches of insects and animals and things, it's unlikely you're going to get less than a tenner a brooch online if you want to list them all at £10 a piece. I do a lot of money on brooches and some go for much more. But always research them, see what similar pieces are selling. But as I said, yeah, there's money in, even costume jewellery, brooches, necklaces. A lot of the vintage costume comes with a designer behind it. And as I say, most of the time the designer's name is stamped on the back. Now, if you're going to go jewellery buying, you are going to need some tools. All right. As I've said, an eyeglass or an eye loop, jeweler's eye loop. There's a few variations, different types of eye loops. carry a few different ones. My eyes are going these days, so I tend to use this one, but I got a few different ones I normally carry. Bear with me. Typical today, I haven't got it on me. I got little ones and that fit in your pocket, and then this. You need a jewelry scales, and that's about all you need. If you want to deal in dearer pieces, then acids. But again, I'm going to put the videos. There'll be a few videos in the description today, how to identify silver and gold, how to test with acids, and things like that. If you want to know how to do the reselling business in total, then check out my book. Everything I know about reselling, it's on Amazon. My website is full of articles designed to teach you all about antiques, collectibles, and how to make money. And so is my YouTube channel. However, this is what I would do if I was starting from scratch with no knowledge. I would do jewelry, because I tell you now, you can spend £5, £10 and pull a few £100 back, no problem whatsoever. You really can. I hope somebody's found this useful, and I hope it manages to help somebody if you need to make a bit of money. Genuinely, the way the country is going with the taxes and all the different hikes and all the way we're being robbed with the cost of rising, cost of living, then I hope you find this helps. But I promise you, hand on heart, if you follow this advice, you go to a car boot sale, go to a charity shops, buy the 50p jewelry, you will make money. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you find it useful. Check out my website, antiquesarena.com, and don't forget to subscribe if you like the video.